Welcome back to the channel. We have another review for you today. This is one that I was able to see in theaters before the pandemic shut all of them down, and this one is going to be The Invisible Man.
Captain, my captain.
I'll be back.
I'm the king of the world!
Iron Man.
This one is directed by Leigh Whannell, a very promising young director who has really come out swinging in his early start to his career. This is probably, obviously there's not much competition, but this is probably my favorite movie so far of 2020.
Are you okay?
Someone's sitting in that chair.
When Cecilia's abusive ex takes his own life and leaves her his fortune, she suspects his death was a hoax. As a series of coincidences turn lethal, Cecilia works to prove that she is being hunted by someone nobody can see.
Rather than run away.
Are you okay?
Going into this movie, I was a little bit hesitant and I didn't know if I really wanted to see this one in theaters because recreating Universal's monsters so far has been a giant bust. I mean, you remember The Mummy, don't you? Oh, Tom Cruise's Mummy, that was something else. Anyways, yeah, I didn't really know what to think of this movie, but I was pleasantly surprised, and thank God that I was. For starters, Elisabeth Moss in this movie was fantastic. She was so believable in this role, and it was kind of hard to watch at times because everyone around her just thought she was extremely, mentally disturbed, but really she wasn't, and she had you just really rooting for her and believing in her. And as I mentioned, it was kind of hard to watch at times because she made it feel so real, and she played this role just excellent. Leigh Whannell once again absolutely delivers in this film. This is his third time in the director's seat. The first time for Insidious 3. He then followed that up with 2018's Upgrade, which was one of the best movies of that year. And if you have not seen Upgrade, it's probably one of the best action movies of the last 10 years. It's one you should definitely check out and put on your list if you haven't seen it. And now with The Invisible Man, he just does not disappoint. His direction in this really was incredible because The Invisible Man, he's an invisible monster. He's an invisible bad guy, so you can't see him. So you have to do the camera tricks to make it believable that someone is there and terrorizing this person. So the slow pans onto an empty corner in the room, or the slow zooms onto an empty corner in the room, making you believe that the Invisible Man is there when clearly he's not. This must have been a really inexpensive film to make because you don't have to create no giant monster. The guy's invisible. And he really makes you just kind of sit on the edge of your seat, and he makes you feel every moment of this film. He does a terrific job.
Are you okay?
Someone's sitting in that chair.
Also, the jump scares in this movie are perfection in how all jump scares should be. Horror movies today really depend on that cheap thrill, that cheap scare. So they put in these pointless jump scares that don't even make any sense to the plot of the movie. They just want to scare the audience. That's not how this movie is. It really earns each scare through how effectively it builds the Invisible Man. The acting and directing in this movie I can't say enough about. They are both top notch. Also, they did a really good job of adapting this movie into 2020. The original film came out in the 1930s, and they really made it modern in this movie and made it a lot more believable. The biggest issue that I had with this movie has to be the plot holes. There are some massive plot holes in this film, and sure, I can look past most of them because of how good everything else is, but there are some that just literally make no sense and leave you scratching your head. For example, there is this one scene that takes place in a restaurant where something happens with the Invisible Man, and it's like, did no one else just see that? The restaurant was completely packed, like shoulder to shoulder packed, and it's also 2020, so are there no cameras? It made no sense to me, and you can't really, like I said, there's some moments where you can't really look past it, like, well, that doesn't make any sense. They think they'd have that on camera. It's 2020. Why would a restaurant not have cameras in it? Or even why wouldn't the person at the table literally right next to them see what just happened? So there's a lot of plot holes, and that was the biggest issue that I had, but overall everything else was just perfect in this movie. So I'm going to give The Invisible Man an 8 out of 10. So far, obviously not much competition. It is my favorite movie of 2020. Have you seen The Invisible Man? If so, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. Also, consider hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ding that bell to stay up to date for when I post my next video. We'll be sure to see you in the next one.
See you around. All right, check you later.
Bye.